We're there. Afternoon, folks. So we shall wait a few minutes for others to come and join us. I've just shared this into the public group, as well as its own Panda Pantry page and on our YouTube channel. Hello, Teresa. Hi, Elaine. Yeah, we'll give it a couple of minutes, let others join us, and we'll get started. It is rather warm this afternoon. I didn't realise it was going to be quite so hot. So I've made some measures to help me with the pastry that I'm going to make, because I wasn't considering that it's going to be 20 odd degrees, or it feels a lot hotter actually. I think I said it's going to be like 22, 23. It feels a bit hotter. So come and say hello if you're watching, and then we will get cracking. That's a courgette. Yeah. No, I mean, at what point does a courgette become a marrow? We need our courgette expert, Jan. So when Jan comes along, we'll find out when it becomes a marrow. But yes, it's one of those wonky courgettes as well. You know, the ones that they sell cheap, because the non-wonky ones are more perfect than this for some reason. Hello, Lisa. Yeah. No, it was little with the wonky ones. Right. Okay. So yet again, I've got many things to do to get started, so we can either cool them down or let them rest, and all the usual. And there is no set way I can do this to make it easy. So I'm going to do the pastry because it's hot. I do want to let it rest for as long as I possibly can. Hi Janine. Hi Jack. Yeah. Well, these Whoppers. I think there was 3 in the basket for. I think they were £1, something like that. They weren't expensive. So I'll do the pastry first, because we know that's the most difficult one in this sort of heat. I'll do the dough for the cinnamon rolls second. I'll then do the filling for the cinnamon rolls. I'll then do the cabbage bake, and then we'll start putting everything else together. Because the cabbage bake sort of like a one sort of hit. Everything's made together, in it goes, so it's done. So that gives me a sort of like a 20-minute chunk in the middle of everything. So flies have suddenly woken up because it's suddenly gone sort of bright sunshine again. Flies are suddenly mad out again. Right, so pastry. Yeah, thought I've got everything ready. There's the only thing I hadn't got out. We're just going to do a normal pastry. See if we can get it into there. Okay. So what I've done in advance is I've prepped my 100 grams of butter, and I've popped it into the fridge just so it stays as cold as possible. Someone making cauliflower or courgette rice or something. Crumble.
I thought I washed that out enough. There's another one.
We got courgette bits in the. We would have in the pastry. It's courgette Danish pastries.
Started it for you.
Yeah. All right. So, usual story. 50 grams. So I think maybe last time I did this, I mentioned about using some xanthan gum as well as the egg. yolk. I'm going to do both because that really does help. And I think certainly in this heat, it's going to help. Here you go. Here's the expert for courgettes. Right, okay, Jan, when does it become a marrow? At what stage do you class a courgette a marrow? Or are they two completely different things? We just assumed that they are the same. For anyone that doesn't know, Jan's the Queen of Cornwall and also the master trader of courgettes in the Cornwall area. So 100 grams of butter.
I thought you were going to say for anyone who doesn't know what panda flour is.
Oh, no. Everyone knows what panda flour is now, but they need to know where they get their courgettes from in Cornwall. Hi, Jane. So again, as it's hot, I'm going to try and keep my handling of this stuff down to a minimum. Really don't want this getting too warm. So whilst it's in its powdered state, I am going to add my xanthan gum. This does help with the stability, so the stretchability of the pastry. It's not essential, and 90% of the times when I make it's a teaspoon, make the pastry, I don't tend to add it because I'm using it straight away, and it's not as hot as it is today. I'm just a little bit conscious that I haven't got ages to faff, and I don't want it to be tearing up when I'm trying to roll it out in this heat. Right, okay. So there's the flour, butter, and xanthan mix. 1 egg yolk. And then we're going to top it up with cold water. And again, I've prepared a jug of water in the fridge, so it is as cold as I can get it. Okay, so this will be about 14 grams, 13. Need my rubbish bowl.
Dropped an egg earlier and it didn't smash.
You drop one.
It didn't smash.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, so then we're going to make it up to 75 grams. So it's adding 60 something. Okay. All right. So what are we making first? We're making the pastry first so we can let it rest before we roll it out for making Danish pastries. So that's the first one. So the pastry first. I am going to do a few folds and rolls with this pastry. So we're going to bring it together now. We're going to let it rest for a few minutes. We're going to roll it. We're going to fold it. We're going to let it rest. We're going to roll it. We're going to fold it. We're going to let it rest. See, even now the butter's melted at the bottom. It's crazy. Maybe I should have put the bowl in the fridge as well. It'll be fine. I'll see if I can squeeze the whole lot into the fridge. Normally the bowl is clean when I'm doing this. But that's cold butter. Yeah, that's right. I'm putting that straight into the fridge because it's instantly gone sort of tacky. Really starting to melt. Sorry, Pickle, you're going to have to come out. You're sorry? Yeah. Afternoon, Karen. All right. So, pastry done very, very rapidly. Let it rest. We're going to let it chill down, and then we'll get it out in sort of maybe 20 minutes to do a first. I should be able to do, really, if I think about it, I should be able to do 2 rolls and 2 folds. You'll know what I mean when I do it. If you can do more, because it then helps that sort of lamination, so it helps with the layering. Let's do the dough for the cinnamon roll. So I'm going to do apple and cinnamon. So it's not just a straightforward cinnamon roll. It's going to be an apple and cinnamon. I'm going to make an apple and cinnamon puree to go inside it. Although so it does say cinnamon rolls, but it's apple and cinnamon filling. I thought it was just because I've done a cinnamon version of that as well. Straightforward. I think that was something different. Right. So the dough for this. Where did I put? There it is. We're going to get the yeast warm. We don't want this to sort of sit for too long because we're going to be able to roll it out. So it's not going to prove massively, but I do want to activate the yeast as such. I want to get it sort of warm. So this one is 20 grams of yeast. Makes quite a lot of this, but then we are going to roll this out quite a large sheet and then fold it or roll it again.
Where did you get your apples from?
Sorry, I missed that.
Where did you get your apples from?
Where to get my apples from? Morrison's. I used this pastry for the first time to make tarts the other day, and if I hadn't made them, I wouldn't have known that it wasn't made. Oh, right, yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, I've not added sweetness to my pastry, purely because everything goes inside is going to be sweet, and the drizzle is going to be sweet. So, for me, I'm quite happy not having sweetener in the pastry. But you need to do what Lisa does and try it out, and if you think you need sweetener, then add sweetener next time round. If you don't want sweetener, then leave it out. Good tip, actually. I've got some here. Is just use a little bit of liquid stevia in the pastry, just a couple of drops, rather than sort of more bulk. I just want to test this water. I think this is a little bit too hot. So you want this water about sort of 45, 50 degrees. So I am going to see where we are with this lot. Okay, so it's at 60. So I know I need 425 grams. So there's 300, and it's at 60 degrees. Okay, that's 430, and we're at 46 degrees. Perfect. So don't be afraid of doing that. Bit of hot, bit of cold. Get the right temperature. It just helps if it's the right temperature. Thanks. Right, get it in with the yeast. Oh. Did I get it? I didn't get it. Whisk out. You are. Hi, Lulu. Give it a little whisk up. We're just going to let that sit for a couple of minutes. So, of course, you could make a cinnamon Danish from the pastry, or this is more of the bread cinnamon roll, so the doughy roll. So I'm just going to let that sit for sort of 5 minutes just to froth up a little bit more while we get the other ingredients sorted out. So 150 grams of Panda flour. You'll be pleased to know the sinks are empty. Everything has been cleaned. The dishwasher is empty and primed, ready to go. Let's see if we can fill it in the next 2 hours. So 150 grams of Panda. coffee. Oh, that's good. Sweetener between 50 to 75. Again, you need to at some point make this to know whether you want it to be sweeter or less sweet. Again, because we're going to put an apple and cinnamon inside it, which is also going to be sweetened, I'm only going to add 50 to this. I suppose we prefer things to be a little less sweet because we prefer the more bitter things, so like the dark chocolate, the 100% Emma makes dark chocolate. Do you put any sweetness in? There's a little bit of sweetener in that?
Just the flavour, really.
The flavour
making
drops.
it from scratch. I've got some really good stevia.
Right, yeah.
So I quite like 100%.
Yeah, so we're sort of quite happy with 85% is quite sweet to us, and everything above that is actually quite good. You know. Okay. So I've got my melted butter and I've got my water. I'm gonna just let that, so that and that are gonna go together in a minute to make the dough. Just gonna let that rest for a few more minutes, and I've got some melted butter here as well, 30 grams of melted butter. Yeah, it's still enough melted that I can get it in. I'll come back to that. We'll do some apples. I say some apples. We're going to do the apple and courgette as the filling. So in the cookbook, it says 200 grams of Bramley apples with some sweetener and some cinnamon. I'm actually going to do all of this. So this is just over a kilo, or once I've taken the skins out, the cores out, or the skin of this off and the cores of these out, it's going to be about 1 kilo. I'm going to cook it all down because it's not. I'm not just making it for this, for the cinnamon swirls. We actually like the apple and cinnamon jam mix on yogurt and all sorts of things. So don't just think you need to get one apple. Make a batch. It'll keep forever in the fridge. It'll freeze it down. It'll just keep forever. Now, I'm using the courgette to bulk out the apples. 9 grams of carbs. There was a conversation actually a couple of weeks ago about our apples keto. The carb value of a Bramley is no different to a blueberry. So, you know, if you're eating blueberries and saying to people they can't have apples, then I'd ask the question, why not? So to actually help, the issue with Bramleys is that they are quite tart, and therefore we need to sweeten them quite a lot. That's where the problem lies with these. However, we know we're going to use sweetener to sweeten these up, but also if you want to reduce the overall carb impact of it, then actually adding, you can almost do a 1-to-1. You wouldn't know the difference. So 1-to-1 in weight-wise. So these are 3 grams of carbs. These are 9 grams of carbs. You put them together, you've suddenly made a 6 gram of carb per 100 grams mix. I'm not quite going there today. It's going to be 75% apple, 25% courgette. We're just going to skin the courgette though. You don't want the courgette green. I will keep the skins on the apples, but I won't keep the skins on the courgettes for this. So you just want the inner of the courgette. Now, by more luck than judgment, we're going to be using the trimmings of the courgette in the cabbage bake. So none of this is going to waste. We're going to use the whole thing. Jan will be pleased to know. Okay, so take off the skin. No, you don't need. No. You don't need the courgette. Absolutely not. It's just to trim those carbs down. That's it. I mean, that's why often I'd mix rhubarb with the apple. 3 grams of carbs, 9 grams of carbs, equal volume. You know, so it's an option to bring it down for the same thing. You know, you can have your apple crumble. It just maybe bulked out with something else. So if you're happy with the calf value of just baked apples or baking apples, then just use that. So I reckon these are probably a couple of 100 grams, 250. And just cube it. Yeah, see, there you go. So I'm not a fan of the Bramleys unsweetened, but then I don't want them overly sweet. So I remember used to buy the shop bought apple pies. Louis was an absolute monster for them. They were way too sweet for me, long before keto, but way too sweet for me. Just couldn't do it. So I'm happy with a bit of tartness. But yeah, some people go straight in without. So yeah, Morrison's was where I got mine from. I don't think oh no, I didn't go into Tesco's today. Morrison's and Lidl's today. All right, just going to pop them in there. So yeah, the apples, I'm going to leave the skins on. Up to you. I mean, if you don't want the skins in your crumble, you know, take them off. But I don't see why not. And obviously we know we need to work fairly quickly with apples. We will chuck a little bit of water at these, but not much. I don't want to drown them. You can smell the tartness of them actually. Just going to give it a little bit of water. I don't want it to fry. I say this is just over a kilo in total once I've taken the skins and the cores out. So this is going to make quite a lot of jam, but it's perfect for us. Yeah, yes, yeah, apple and cinnamon mug cake. Last night's was good. We made a chocolate mug cake and a caramel mug cake, then combined them in the mugs, and then a blob of peanut butter in one and a blob of almond butter in the other. Very nice. But yes, some apple and cinnamon in the bottom of the cup first, then a vanilla custard mug cake on top. All right. We'll just let them cook down for a few minutes. I'm not going to do anything with that until they've started to soften a little bit. So it's on a medium-low heat. We can get the dough made, and then we get the pastry out to do its first roll. Okay, so it's not going to do a huge amount. Where's my whisk? Straight into the flour. Get the butter in there as well. If you've got a stand mixer, then you can easily use that for this volume of dough. I tend to try not to use it because I know everyone doesn't have one, just to sort of show you that it can be done by hand. However, Lidl's have got them in at the moment. They're about 40 quid. If you want to make your own bread, if you want to make your own sort of, bulk, make some pastry or dough, it's not a bad thing to have, because you just tip all of the ingredients in it, turn it on, and just let it do its thing for 15-20 minutes.
Do they come with the glass or the metal?
No, it's a metal one at the moment. Yeah, which is fine. Right. It's coming together now. You all right there? It's too hot for the dogs again today. He doesn't even want the freshly roasted marrowbone that I did for him this morning. We went to Wing Yips yesterday, which is our favourite Chinese cash and carry. Other cash and carry that are available, probably. Yeah. And we found, it was over in the meat counter, wasn't it? So in the frozen counter, they've got little marrowbones, so chopped up marrowbones, a couple of inches. I think they were about £5 a kilo. We went over to the fresh meat counter, and these things are monsters, for £2 a kilo. They're not cut down; they're proper big. There you go. So that's taken me a few minutes to get to that point. My shoulder is aching a little bit, So again, I would normally do this in the stand mixer, just to let it knead it. So now we're going to let it rest for a few minutes. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I also have my marrowbones. So let's show you one of these. So I've had, I think there's 4 or 5 marrowbones in the foodie at the moment, making a bone broth. So these have been slow cooking since yesterday afternoon. Oh, yeah, it was, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Blimey. They've probably been going for about 18 hours so far. Yeah, get it onto there. Right, that's the size of the marrowbone. Managed to get, I think, 5 or 6 in the foodie. They're nowhere near ready yet. I can see. Can you see? It's almost pulsing with the heat. It's almost breathing. Yeah, it's nowhere near ready yet. However, the stock is looking amazing. We just said we'd have enormous, and say literally 5 or 6 just sort of crisscrossed inside there. We just said it'd be quite nice to actually have a jug of bone broth in the fridge. So I'll let that go for another. It's off at the moment. With our power issues, I don't want to have too many things on while I'm cooking. So it's off at the moment. I turned it off about an hour ago. And I'll stick it back on again for at least another 12 hours because we need all of that marrow out of the bone. So it's nowhere near close yet. What do you stop for? All sorts of things. I mean, anything there's loads of recipes where it calls for a little bit of stock. Even last night we made the Chinese chicken. So it was a garlic and ginger sauce that calls for a bit of stock. So luckily I had some chicken stock, which I made for the dogs.
Chicken's chicken.
But it was chicken stock. I'd made it because it was it was chicken drumsticks and bones for the dogs, but you know, we're all the same in this house. They've actually got the same marrow bones, which I say are roasted off. Anyway. Yes, so bone broth is on the go.
You've got peanut butter in the bones for the dogs as well.
Yeah, we use the hollowed out bones to put peanut butter and cream cheese, to keep the dogs sort of happy while we're out and about.
Don't worry, Lily. Mark forgot about it as well.
What are you on about?
The sauce last night.
The sauce last night. That sauce was fun. Yeah. Do you know what? When Emma said to me, "Oh, can we have that Chinese?" I was like, "I have no idea what you mean." So it's in your book. I was like, I literally have no idea. She has to show it to me on my own website and go, that one. Right, okay. Better follow the recipe because I've still no idea. It was very nice. Whoever the chef was, compliments. Right, you can see that sort of starting to cook down. So we again, like if you ever do any what?
I just love it.
If you ever do any apple apple sauce or like an apple crumble, you want some of it to be mush and some of it to be, you know, solidish. So you don't want to, well, personal choice obviously, but I like a bit of texture in there. So it's not, the Americans have just like apple sauce, it's just like pureed apple. You want a bit of texture in there as well. So anyway, that's carrying on. Let's get the pastry out. Okay, better. Right, okay, that's a little bit better. We'll be able to get the first roll done. Just going to move these. So I am going to use the marble board. That's good. I can put that one in there because that's all going together. I'm going to use the marble board for rolling out on. Oh yeah, custard. Yeah. Yeah. So again, because of our power issues, we only have one ring. I need to make a custard in a minute. Okay. So I'll let this cook down for another couple of minutes, and then we'll take it off. That's the fire station.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So there was just a beeping going on. I was like, hang on. What is it that's gone wrong? But it's the fire station. If using more courgette, yeah, you could do. Yeah, I mean, we've got the apple seasoning or the apple flavor drops in the cupboard. I'll taste it and see, you know, what it's like. I'm going to take about half the dough. Now, trust me when I say that these first couple of rolls, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter on shape. It doesn't matter on thickness. It just doesn't matter, okay? All you're trying to do is get it to a point where you can bring it back in on itself. So it doesn't matter whether it rolls out into a round, a square, a diamond. Once you've done this a few times, as in you've rolled this piece of dough pastry out a few times, you will be able to shape it better, all right? Okay. That's all I need at the moment. We're going to bring top in. We're going to bring bottom over. We're going to turn it. We're going to flip it so the folds are on the other side. And we're going to do it again. We're going to roll it out. Again, doesn't need to be neat. As we roll this, you're going to find it's going to get more stable. Roll it out a bit longer, fold it, flip it. I'm going to do one more roll because the more I handle this, the more temperamental it's going to get in this heat. Okay, fold, fold. That's going to go back in the fridge as it is. Just going to put it on some. Just want that to chill down just a little bit more now. I'll do this piece. And then, right, so the apple is pretty much done. We haven't seasoned it, we've done nothing with it yet. Just want to get the texture right. You can sort of see, yeah, that's done. I don't want to cook that down anymore. So, as much as the marble board isn't an essential, if you're going to make pastry on a regular basis, it probably is worth investing in. I think, what was this? Was this like 15, 20 quid? I can't remember now. It wasn't that expensive, was it?
Yeah, it's from Dunelm.
From Dunelm, yeah. How much water did that? To the apple, 100 mils, no more. It was just enough to just cover that very bottom layer. So when the lid went on, it created some steam, breaks the apple down. There's more than enough liquid in there, more than enough liquid. It's just like, you know, not even half an inch of water at the bottom of the pan. It's just to stop it from frying and burning. Okay, so again, I am working quickly today, obviously, just conscious that the longer it's out of the fridge in this state, the more temperamental it becomes. Perfect. Yeah. I mean, I use the, I didn't make it last time around. I never made it about 2 years ago. And then it just was in the freezer and in the fridge. We've only just finished using it actually, but I'd have it on pretty much anything and everything. Right, so last roll. And then we'll fold this one, get it in the fridge. So this is all we mean by sort of creating those different layers. If you've got time to do it, you will notice a difference. You will be able to see it when you've got the finished pastry. All right, that's that one done. Come back to you in a bit. Right, let's have a look at this. So we're going to season this. Season, flavour, you know, it's the same thing. Yeah, perfect. So there's a very small amount of liquid at the bottom of the pan. Obviously, for the Danishes or for the cinnamon swirl, you don't want it too liquidy. You do want it reasonably dry. That'll be fine. Certainly, once I've added some cinnamon into there, you can see there are some chunks in there, and you can see there's sort of, you know, apple puree in there. Let's have a little taste. Bear in mind, no sweetener. Popped out for a bit. Are you trying to? Yes. So the rolling process of roll, fold is to sort of try and create those very thin layers. It won't become flaky, okay? Not yet. But it is certainly, you can see the difference in its texture from when we first started with Panda, which was just one solid layer of pastry. So the original pastry was just fairly thick, stable, but no layers, whereas this has certainly got some sort of like layers to it. Okay. So a little bit of tartness. So what I'm going to add, we're going to add the cinnamon first because that's going to change the flavour. That's way in. Because the recipe states for about 200 grams of fruit, and there's about 500 in here. Sorry, there's about a kilo in here. So 5 times, that's what I meant to say. 10 grams of cinnamon. Again, it depends as to whether that's too much for you, whether you just want a hint of cinnamon or not. So we're going to go with, we're both sort of cinnamon fans. I'm going to start with 25. The cinnamon's also going to thicken up the mix as well.
I was going to say, could save a little bit for, and if it's not with lots of cinnamon.
Oh, too late. Too late now.
I was just about to
Too late. Too late. Okay.
That's very cinnamony.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I think that's enough.
Yeah.
I think that's it. But what I will do now is add some. Yeah. So cinnamon is one of those things. I mean, or you could use mixed spice. You know, you don't have to just go to cinnamon. You can use mixed spice. Just a little bit of nutmeg, something like that in there. Sweetener wise, I'm going to use a little bit of this brown sweetener to go into it. Now, it only calls for 50 grams per 200. That'd be 250. That's way too much for us. Way too much. I'm actually only going to be adding, I'd say, 100 grams.
When I made mine, I added a tablespoon of, teaspoons of salted butter into it as well when I was stewing it.
Nice.
It just really gave it a nice silky kind.
Oh, there you go. So again, you can sort of still see the chunks of apple that are in there. Nice. What do you think?
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice and porridge.
Yeah. Yeah. So bit of panda porridge and apple and cinnamon on top. Right, I'm going to transfer it into a dish or bowl just so it can cool down a little bit quicker. Get it into that. Okay, right.
Yeah, just the right teaspoon, is it?
Yeah.
Right.
So again, adjust the, what is the sweetener going in? It's just not needed during the cooking process. I wanted to taste the apples first. This is the point with apples are never going to be the same all the way through, whether they're very tart or, you know, depends on when they were picked. So for me, I prefer to add the sweetness once I can taste the apples cooked, because there's no way that needed 50 grams of sweetener per apple, per 200 grams of apple. It just didn't need it for me. You know, so it's easier to add back in than it is to try and take some sweetness out of there. So I'd prefer stew the apples, find out where they are sweetness wise, and then sweeten them up. Otherwise you end up with something that you're not going to enjoy. Custard. Okay. Again, I need to do this because I need to get this cool, ready for. It's quarter three already.
Sun's still out.
Yeah, sun's still out. Right, so this is a slightly different custard recipe. That had yeast in it, hadn't it? Yeah. Which I found recently, and I've only made it a couple of times. So I just need to log back in. So it's not a recipe that I've shared yet. It's a recipe that I found and adapted to make the Danish pastries, because the custard that goes in the Danish needs to be more stable than a standard egg custard, as in when you sort of make a custard from egg. Hi, Mira. So here's how I made it. 150 grams of water and 50 grams of cream need to be warmed in the pan. You can use milk. So if you want to use whatever milk it is you use, it's 200 grams of milk. I'm using cream and water. Again, the ratios on this are, I would be honest and say this is my preference for when I'm doing a milk replacement. 25% cream, 75% water. You might want to increase the fat content or decrease the fat content. Only you'll know that. You might find too much cream is too much for you. It's unsettling. You might find that you want a nice, heavy, rich, creamy custard. So the 50, 150 or the 25%, 75% works, but don't be afraid of, tinkering with it yourself. Okay. So in here, I need 2 egg yolks. Which should add or equal about 30 grams. I'm not going to worry if it's saying 27, 28. So we'll find a slightly bigger one. That's a 13 grammer. It's a bigger egg, but it's not a bigger yolk. There's a lot more white to this one. A lot more white. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Oh, actually, 29 grams. So it was a slightly bigger yolk. It didn't look it. It was surrounded by so much white. Looks like we're going to be having pancake rolls again. Right, to this we want a dash of vanilla extract, half a teaspoon, 2 or 3 grams. Pork neck pancake rolls. We've got pork neck. Another thing that we pick up. 30 grams of sweetener. The other thing we pick up when we go to Wing Yips is a bag of pork neck. We'll show you. It's going to ping probably in about 10 minutes. Hang on. 30 grams of sweetener. Okay. Give it a whisk. So it's very much like pork ribs. It's just the meat it needs to be slower cooked. Actually, I prefer pork ribs slow cooked as well, slow roasted. And you get the very odd shape. So there's nothing symmetrical about a bag of pork ribs. There are probably 20, 30 pieces of bone and meat, all completely different. So you never know whether you're going to get a big piece with lots of meat on it, or a big piece of bone with little meat on it. You take your pick. Right, Panda flour into there. Just 10 grams.
How many portions did you say?
I managed to get 8, 9 Danish pastries out of this custard. So you can sort of see it goes thick. We're going to add some of the milk. Just heat it up a little bit more. Yeah, we've got 4 minutes left on the pork ribs. big spoon. You don't want this boiling. Yeah, that's high enough. I'm just going to add a little bit into the egg. You just want to get this to a position where you can then add it back into the milk. So, is this Panda creme pat? It's a bit thicker than creme pat.
Debbie has a question.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see it. How much? 10 grams. Sorry, Debbie. 10 grams. I am still playing with this because it may take a little bit more Panda, which may make it more stable. Right, okay, boiling, off, done. I don't want it to boil while I do this bit. Spatula. Sorry, what was that? Okay, so we're going to be adding that into the hot milk. Just keep it moving. We are going to return it back to the heat. Let's just get the... We're just trying to get the custard to be, sort of say, more stable within inside the pastry. So obviously it's got to bake for 20 minutes. You will lose some of it into the mix, but we're after a custard layer, and then whatever it is we're going to put on top of that. Today we're going to add a little bit of. What was that noise? Some random noises out there today. We'll add a little bit of the apple and cinnamon, but we've got various other things we can add in there. You can just put some chopped pecans in there. So, medium heat, keep it going. We're obviously keeping it moving so it doesn't curdle, so it doesn't just sort of set in one place, but it is thickening. And you do want it to thicken. Oh, you definitely heard something as well.
Like some sort of carnival or something.
Carnival?
Yeah, I don't know.
You think Burton Latimer has a carnival? Burton Latimer carnival.
You know, when you do the floats and the, you know.
The only float you're seeing Burton Latimer is that milk float that comes out.
Oh, fine. Okay. There's some drums on there. I can hear them.
Oh, that's the church. It's the church. It's the church. Right. Okay. We have to. We do completely forget that 3 doors down there's a church, and they have an event on every Sunday. Right. Okay. So this is thickened up, so you can sort of see how it's thickened up. Just going to give it another minute. You can tell the difference between these eggs. I say it every bloody time. These eggs and the farmer's eggs. So we've run out of farmer's eggs. These are shop bought eggs. That last week was bright yellow. Today it's a pale yellow. So right, anyway, that's set. Yeah, it's the church. Can you hear it on the mic? Right, I'm gonna, and the ninja has just stopped as well. I'm gonna tip that into a plastic dish, bowl, tub, and get it in the fridge because I need this cool. You could hear
What
it.
can everyone hear?
What can you hear? That was weird. It was a rumble of sorts, wasn't it? It does feel very quiet now. Now the ninja stopped. Okay. Okay, so that's the custard. It does smell great. It just doesn't, because it's shop bought eggs. The colour's just not the same. But anyway. Okay, let's reassess where we are. We've already got half a dishwasher load. Oh, yes. All right. I give you a sneak peek at dinner, and then we're just going to let it sit and rest for a couple of hours. So these pork neck fillets, which I seasoned with the same sauce, actually, Lulu, yeah, the garlic and ginger sauce, and then we added a little bit more Chinese 5-spice. So is it an 11 spice or a 7 spice? 7 spice. So they've been slow roasting for 2 hours. You get loads of these bones, and they've got big chunks of meat. It's not a knife and fork job. Okay, it's definitely not a knife and fork job. It's not a first date meal. This is a fairly messy meal, but it's absolutely stunning. Slow roasted for a couple of hours. The meat's just going to fall off the bone when we come around to those. I'm just going to let them rest for a couple of hours.
Actually, if you can eat that with someone on a first date, then they are probably going to have many more days.
Yeah. All right. So it does feel different now that the Ninja stops. I forgot how noisy it is. Feels quite nice. We'll go back to this. We'll roll this once more. We'll stick it in the fridge once more. We'll do the pastry and for the cinnamon rolls. And then we can do the cabbage bake. Okay.
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. That's the first hour. I mean, we haven't got anything done yet, but you know. Oh. Almost. Wonder what was different. It's very quiet now. Hi, Gemma. Do you see the picture of Gemma shared earlier on?
No.
She's a mum to about 1 million bees.
Oh. In a good way? Or?
Yeah, in a good way.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
They've got. Well, the picture is of David actually next to the hive.
Oh wow.
Fully armoured up, full suit on.
Ooh. Is that honeybees?
I don't know actually. What are they, Gem? Okay, so one more roll and fold on these, back into the fridge, and then the next time round they use. Well, you can sort of see. Yeah, you're right. Country like honeybees. You can see how much easier it's responding to me when I'm rolling it. You know, once you've rolled it and let it rest, this second roll is a little bit easier, and then the third roll, you know, is the time when you can actually sort of shape it properly. Okay. Right. So how many we got live? There's a few of us. Okay. So let's do a couple of regular updates. So firstly, ebook. So the Panda Flour ebook is now on the website. So if anybody wants that, and I know there's been a few actually ordered today. So if you like to work off your phone, tablet, whatever it is, your device, you can download it. It's a high quality. It's the print quality version. So you will be able to, if you need to, sort of expand it as large as you need to, as some of us do when you're wearing your glasses and go, what's that on the screen? So yeah, ebook is now available. If you search for it, if you want it, then just search for it in the search bar on the website. Just type in ebook and it'll pop up. But Ella's going to make it more visible when she gets a chance. Secondly, the workshop in a fortnight's time, so that's where we'll be in 2 weeks today, now has only 2 spaces left. So again, as I said last week, if you wanted to come and you're not sure, well, that's it, 2 spaces. Once we've reached the 8, we can't do any more because there's just not enough space around the table. We were talking today about what we're going to do on the day. So those that have booked on already, what I'll do is probably by the end of next week, so by this time next week, I'll have emailed everybody just with an itinerary of what we're going to do for the day. Just so you're sort of prepared. Make sure. No, Jack. No, it literally. I mean, if I've added 5 grams to that entire lot there, it's nothing. I mean, all I would have done is add a 70% more fiber to add that 5 grams. No, literally, it's not going to make any difference. Right, where are we? Pastry's in. Apple's done.
Workshop in 2 weeks.
Yeah. I've just seen where I am with this lot. Right, dough. Let's get the dough out. So yeah, workshop in 2 weeks. So everyone that's coming along, I will you can see how much it's proved. I'll email towards the end of this week, give you an itinerary as to what we're up to, and on the day you'll be in for a couple of surprises as well. So it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that. The other thing, and actually this is something that we've sort of done previously a little bit, but we're going to have, I know everyone can't make the on-the-day versions of the workshops, and obviously we are restricted time-wise on those days. So we are going to try and cram in as much as possible in the day. However, over the next couple of months, we're going to be putting together an online workshop. So it's going to come in different stages. We'll share a link to it. In fact, do you want to drop that link in now? We're going to share a link to it now. Essentially, the idea is, that sessions like this can sometimes be a little bit chaotic, and I do have to move from one to the other quite rapidly because 2 hours is a long time for everybody to sort of stand around and watch, and I'm sure we've all got sort of other things we want to get on with. So the idea is that the actual online masterclass will sort of replicate what we do in the actual workshop itself, where we're going to do dedicated real-time videos for all of the recipes. Now, the guys that are coming to the workshop, they don't know this yet, but the guys that are coming to the workshop get access to this straight away. So they'll have access to all of these videos as we build them. But you can then also come and join us in the masterclass online. If you read the read the website, the link that we've just posted there. You'll see what I mean. Essentially, we're going to break it down into, don't worry, Jack, because a lot of the stuff we're going to do on the day. On the day, we're going to do, we're going to try and maybe sort of knock through, maybe 8 recipes, 8 individual recipes, start to finish. That's a lot of work to do in 6 hours. And I know that a lot of the videos that we sort of put out are very edited, sort of 2-3 minutes, which are great. You get an idea. But from the amount of questions we get coming in, I sort of know that it also would help if there are longer form videos. So we're going to start filming those longer form videos. So initially it'll be the basics. So what can we do? That's a lot of coffee needed. Yeah, I know. So initially it would be the basics. So, the basic pastry, the basic breads, the basic sort of, the pancakes, those sorts of things, the day-to-day basics. Then we're going to move on to sort of the things that are a little bit more involved, a little bit more, not experience needed, but, if you want to sort of start making a little bit more of a centerpiece. And then the extension to that, sort of the top end, is the complete sort of banquets, the complete meals, the complete sort of events. So you'll see from the website that we've broken it down into foundation, innovation, and I forgot what the last one is. It's open on here. I've got it on here. Elevation. So the elevation is sort of making, got it there, sort of authentic Chinese dumplings and spring rolls, doing the Indian banquets, doing the Italian dishes. So they'll be the complete thing. So if you're interested in doing anything like that, and it will be an online course which you can dip in and out of whenever you want. Once you've got access to it, you have access to it. You'll have access to all of these long form videos. They will not be published generally, because otherwise YouTube's going to stick adverts in it. So these will be based within our website. Have a read. If you're interested, have a little sign up. Then you'll get an email when things become available, because we need to start filming these things soon. Right, let's do the first bit of the cinnamon dough. Now we want this in, I suppose, long and narrow would be good, but don't worry if it's a little bit misshapen. We can always cut it down. We can always cut it into a shape, but we do want it fairly thin. Now you can sort of see it's going to spring back as we're rolling it. You could, if you wanted to, do this in smaller sections. Take maybe half of the dough, roll that out, and then another half of the dough, roll out, and then join them together. So I think I've done a video on that, or I certainly did that in a members class. I'm going to try and do this as one whole piece. This dough is very stable for this, okay? So unlike the pastry, I'd struggle to do a sheet of pastry this big because it wouldn't allow me to turn it over. Whereas this dough, we've let it rest, we've proved it a little bit. Let me get it on the pin. Again, don't be afraid of a little bit of extra flour to stop it sticking to the board. This is going to be bigger than the marble board, but it doesn't stick as much. Okay, so again, more by luck than judgment, I've managed to create quite a large sheet of dough. I still want it thinner. I'm not going to try and turn it round now. I'm not going to try and lift it up. I'm just going to try and push it out to as far as I possibly can, which is all the way up there. I'll cut this end off, and I might cut that end off. I'm going to see if I can just get it off the board before I fill it. I don't want it to, any bits to be stuck, yeah.
It's very forgiving, isn't it? That
So the whole lot I've been able to lift up. Yeah. So I'm just going to flour the board underneath. Now, I'm going to go from the long side rolling across the short. So I'm going to unroll it. Hang on, I want it that way. I want that way. I want that way. That way. I'm going to go that way. Perfect. Okay. Let's trim that down just so we've got square edges. I should just use the edge of the board actually. Okay. So I'm just going to use the edge of the board as my straight edge.
How many lines is this one?
How many lines? About?
Which way?
I'm going to go that way.
Oh.
I'm going to roll that way. Yeah, that's nice. We can make an individual one out of that. Go away. Okay. No. Now we don't want to go crazy with the filling because you've still got to roll it. And you sort of probably want to stop 3/4 of the way up because obviously the mix is going to get pushed forwards as we go in. Now, the difference with pastry and this is that this would have to be cold because it would melt the butter that's in the pastry and you would never get it rolled. The dough is going to be a little bit more forgiving. So as it's cooled, I mean, obviously I'm able to hold the dish, but it's certainly not cold. Again, don't forget, it is going to, as we roll it, it's going to squish out to the sides. It's going to squish up to the front. We can always add a little bit more in at this top end if we really need to. But just, I suppose, like any of the pastries, sausage rolls, anything that we make, you know, the pasties, don't try and put too much in. That's the quickest way for it to not fold properly and cause you a problem. So just start the roll. And once we get started, it should. Okay. So I'm just going to add a little, you can see that there, yeah? Just going to add a little bit more into that. No, I'm not going to move it. Tempting fate there. Just going to add a little bit more in there.
I miss that smell.
Yeah, yeah, the smell's amazing. All right, and over we go. Beautiful. Okay. The ends might be a little bit sort of, you know, dog-eared, but it's still a good one. Up to you now, what size you want to sort of try and do these. I would reckon this is going to be 12. Not sure my language occasionally sometimes, Elaine, would suit the Blue Pizza crowd. I mean, this is up to you. I mean, I'm going to get 12 sort of decent sized cinnamon swirls out of this. The bigger they are, the more doughy they're going to be in the middle. So don't be tempted to sort of try and do them huge. They will spread out a little bit when they're baked. You could get each section into 4. In fact, I might do half the tray. So we'll do half the tray as a 12. Sorry, as a 6, and we'll do half the tray as an 8, and then we'll be able to see which one was best. So half.
You've certainly got minis, aren't they?
I mean, look at them. No, they're perfect. They're absolutely perfect.
Yeah, I thought you were making bigger ones.
Well, I did last time,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I think I made a large amount of dough. I think they were all. I think it was just like a small amount of dough. I can't remember. I know when I made them, I was like, oh, they're quite small. This is what I was aiming at doing last time round. I don't know what I did wrong.
Right. Okay. Maybe you did it the other way.
Well, you'd get hundreds then of mini ones.
Yeah, I think you might have done that.
Did it? Right. Do you know what? I don't remember.
I'll have to get you a Panda badge, like a pizza badge.
Oh. Right. Do you know what? Because I don't know how much they're going to spread, I'm going to put those 6 in as they are. Can clearly get more on the tray, but I don't want them to sort of like, spread out and then cause problems. Next page. I don't know what to bake them on. 190, 25 to 30 minutes. Okay. If that's what it says, that's what I better do. $190. I'll start with 25 and then we'll see what happens. With the rest, I'll put the rest on here. I like it. This is I haven't done these since we did the picture for the book, and the picture for the book was done probably January, February. It was done really early, so I haven't made these at all. So all I'm trying to say there is that this isn't an expert dish. This is something that anyone can do because this is the second time I've done this. I may have made similar doughs previously, but you saw how easy the dough was to handle. Okay, so the 4s are still sizable, and I think the 4s are, or the 8s, you know what I mean. Maybe a slightly better size. I like them. I don't know what the macros say. What would we get from this? If you're dividing it into 15 portions, that's 6 and 8, 14. Okay, so I've pretty much the same. 1.2 grams of carbs. Is that for the chocolate? Dough, chocolate filling, apple cinnamon filling, 15. Yeah, so they're a gram of carbs each. About. Oh, I just got that to 3. I can't count now, clearly. Right, I'm just going to put those away while we wait for the oven.
I love the side profile of that first one. How huge is that one?
Yes, yeah, there is a monster one there. It will be interesting to see how much they flatten. I know they will go down. I know they will shrink down. We shall see. Yes, it's cabbage bake time. Blimey, it's 3:20. How's that happened? I purposely only put 3 things on today. And I still don't think I'm going to get around to finishing them all off. This is what I mean about sort of we need to do some long form videos. because I know that moving around from dish to dish doesn't help sometimes. But it's the best I can do on a day like today. Because otherwise, there's a lot of waiting time in between while something's resting, proving. And this is how I actually work. This is how I actually do the recipe development. I'll start putting something together, and then I'll go and work on something else. Okay, Cabbage Bake was a question. Yes, it is. So you have to do something with excess. Yes, so that's exactly what I was doing. So the recipe in the book is cabbage, carrots, and leeks. Well, I haven't got any carrots and I haven't got any leeks. So I'm going to use courgettes and shallots. Any three veggies, they're all very similar in their carb values. I need a drink. Cabbage Bake. Yeah, and I've got my electrolytes somewhere. Now, when Jan first sent us, when Jan first sent us this recipe, I just didn't get it. I was like, why would we do that with a tray of cabbage? But it really works, and I've made it a couple of times recently, and both Emma and Ella are like, yeah, absolutely spot on. It's a perfect side to a protein. Make a tray of it, portion it up. This is going to be a 4-portion tray. There's a lot to it. It is 8 grams of carbs if you're making it the way I'm going to do it now, about per portion. It will sit perfectly alongside a steak or a pork chops or whatever, any decent protein. That's it. That's all you need. It's a great side to any protein. All right. So, say the recipe in the book is for 2 portions. I'm doubling it up. Chop your cabbage however you want to chop your cabbage. It can be thick, it can be thin, it can be strips, it can be whatever, it can be grated. It's just going to get mixed in with everything else. And I do want to weigh it. So I'm aiming for 300 grams of cabbage. I mean, do it with red cabbage. Do it with sweetheart cabbage. White's probably the best, or the hard cabbages. So white or red are going to be the best ones.
That's a good idea.
What's that? Yes, yeah, the coleslaw mix, perfect. Because what's that? Cabbage, carrots, and what else do they normally chuck in it? Probably a bit of white onion. So the carbs might be just a fraction higher.
Time.
Yeah, it's a perfect cheat, as it were. Quick way of doing it. Right, so 300 grams of so a little bit of white onion. But again, it's going to be predominantly white cabbage. Yeah, so the actual carb value. I bet if you check the bag, the carb value will say no more than 5-6 grams per 100 of the mix. Right, so the courgette. I'm just going to use the courgette skins. I'll cut them into little shreds. Nearly. It's not got any colder this afternoon. It is baking out there. Absolutely baking. The recipe calls 50 grams of carrot, 50 grams of leek, so I'm doubling up to 100 of each. I didn't weigh the courgette purely because there's not a huge amount more than 100 grams there. And carb-wise, it's lower than the carrot that it's replacing, so. Shallots are a little bit squishy. Yeah. Again, this is a great one. You can actually get everything prepped in the fridge to bake, you know, later in the week. Or bake, portion, freeze. It's a quick defrost. All right, so that's all the veggies. That's all we need.
You could use the egg white instead of
it doesn't need the yolk, no. Okay, so I mean, there's 3 egg whites in there. I could use an egg and that, so it's only an extra little bit.
Or just keep it normal for these guys. So
yeah, no, I'll just keep 2 eggs. I'll just keep 2 eggs. Right. As you would with a coleslaw mix, give it a good old mix up. So everything's going to get shoved into this white tray. It's actually a fairly quick bake as well, this. It sort of feels like it should take longer, but actually half an hour, bit of prep here.
You were saying the other day you could spice it up if you wanted the Mexican.
Yeah. So spices wise, I mean, this is just mixed herbs. You know, there's nothing big going in here flavor wise. But if you wanted to spice it up, then, you know, again, if you want a little bit of peri in there, a little bit of crushed chilies in there, whatever it is you fancy. Using the same bowl because it's all going into the same thing. 2 eggs, 4 eggs. Of course, it would be 4. 4 eggs, yes. Don't need to weigh these. Okay. They're looking good. I remember them now. Now I see them like that. I remember them now. Yeah, so they do sort of fall a little bit, but they I wasn't sure whether they completely fall, but that'll be the pastry version. They'll completely fall. The bread version sort of stay quite tall. Double cream. So everything's going to get mixed into the bowl, and then all we're going to do is pour it over the top. So 50 grams of double cream. Again, this is a double portion. With 100 mils of water. Olive oil. 30. You could replace it with melted butter. Fat of your choice. I think she's doing something next door as well. Sounds like she's got a nail gun next door. Right, and then seasoning. So mixed herbs, salt, pepper, and some baking powder. So again, get everything in first, and then obviously there is a little bit of Panda flour in there as well, and that just thickens it up. There's 2 of these. Herbs of your choice, whatever you want. A couple of teaspoons of mixed herbs. A little bit of salt. A little bit of cracked black pepper. Yeah, I'll need to. I think there's not quite enough there. Well, we'll see. So I need 40 grams in total, and I don't think there's 40 grams. No, there's not even 10 there. There's 11, so we were both pretty close. Give it a mix. It's going to turn into a fairly loose batter. So it's just a herby batter, you can see there. Over it goes. Now, obviously, I'm going to have to wait for these cinnamon rolls to finish. But it's a 15-minute bake. At the end of 15 minutes, take it out, plonk some cheese on top, and then give it another 10-15 minutes. That's it. It's you know, the bake time, certainly with the cheese, is how golden you want it. The cabbage, the actual cabbage mix will be baked after that first 15 minutes. Really, it's sort of still got a crunch to it. So I'm just poking the sauce through the cabbage. It's going to work its way in as it bakes, so don't worry too much about it. I'm just sort of, there you go, poking it through. Nice. Okay. Done. So we will leave that there. We've got 9 minutes. They're probably going to take another 5 because they're quite big. Maybe a little bit chunkier than I should have made them. I'm not going to complain when I'm eating one. Let's do the pastry. We've got 25. That's all we've got left, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's the yeah for?
What is it? A combo?
Yeah, but I was going to use that in the Danish.
Okay.
Yeah, that's going to go with the Danish. Afternoon, Helen. Nice of you to join us after an hour and a half. Where have you been? Not that I do a roll call. Yeah, pastry time. And we can certainly get the first tray of pastries made, ready to go in. The baking part of it is you putting your pastries in the oven. It's the rolling and the actual shaping. Well, you know, we brought them along. Okay. So I'm going to work on this pastry doing, each piece doing 4 pastries, 4 Danish pastries. Nice. Perfect. So my custard has set. You can see it sliding down there. Yeah. So it's a solid now. That might be what we heard earlier, Jane, the rumble of thunder. It was a bit weird, although it's hot and bright blue out there. Because we've been able to leave it for, nearly an hour, it has gone almost like jelly-like. I mean, it's like blancmange-like. I can't quite pick it up, but it is fairly stable. You know, it is fairly stable. So that's perfect. So a couple of hours in the fridge, or a good hour in the fridge, and it's good to go. Okay. Shouldn't need much in the way of flour. This is the 3rd set of roll. We don't necessarily need to fold it much. I'm going to roll it out once, fold it, and then we're going to roll it out into a nice big shape. So this time round, we're going to try and roll it slightly more square. And we are going to want to try and get it once we start rolling it for the pastry, or for the pastries, thin. This is going to make 4 pastries, and let's just do a final fold, final layer, and we want. Oh, where's that coaster go?
Yeah.
We want each. That's a horrific thought, Helen. However, I'm also on a big screen here. Is this where we play the game? My screen's bigger than your screen, or? Thankfully, I'm not big on the screen. Okay, I'm going to fold that once more. It's just tearing there. Okay. So we've got a coaster, which is sort of an ideal size for the Danish pastries. So what I'm going to try and do is get the pastry rolled out. Won't get it all in one go. We'll probably get 2 out of the first cut, and then we'll get 2 out of the second. If I can get 3 out of the first cut, then great. Yeah, probably can get 3 coming down. Well, come on. The smell currently of freshly baked dough and cinnamon, it's quite amazing actually. Yeah. It's looking good. So I've got a coaster. I think I've measured it at about 4 inches, something like that. Actually, it's over 4.5. Okay, so that's the sort of size square I'm going to work with. I can easily get 2 out of this. I'll just use that. You can sort of see how thin we've managed to get that now. It's just a perfect size. You could obviously try and make them a little bit bigger. You'll just get fewer out of the mix. But they worked for us. They were great. They were a great little, side to a coffee or breakfast on the way out the door.
It does change.
It does smell like Christmas, yeah, especially with the 30-degree heat coming through the back door.
Get the trees out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, we all know I am Mr. Christmas. I mean, I do like to leave the Christmas tree up for 10 months of the year. Not quite. Yeah, so I think they're going to take. We'll get them out at the. We've got 1 minute left. We'll get them out at that 1 minute because we know it doesn't go golden like a standard dough would because it hasn't got the carbs in it. But I don't want to overcook them. Right, so there's 3. Let me start on the next one, and we've got the 2 ends to go together.
I guess if you want to, you could egg wash it.
Yeah, you could egg wash it with. We might do that with the second batch. We'll just egg wash it with another yolk.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to have yolk for this as well, aren't we?
Yeah.
So, well, I just want to get at least 4 ready to go. Okay. Oh yeah, actually they're more golden than I saw through the. There you go. So they are, as long as they're firm.
They look like big cinnamon roses.
They do look like big cinnamon roses. I would say they're done enough. Actually, they need to obviously cool to solidify. I can, they're definitely done. I can see from the other side. So let me see if I can show you very quickly. You can sort of see they're golden on the bottom, and they're actually, there's a slight crust to them. So they're done. They're done. So that was 25 minutes. Oh, you've got the cooling now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to whack this straight in. So that's the cabbage bake, 15 minutes. Is that 180 or 190?
I'd probably say more.
No, it's 200.
Really?
Okay, just so I can get these off the tray now. Yeah, they're 100% done. Even a couple of seconds of cooling down, they're more manageable. Obviously, the dough's soft when it comes out of the oven still.
Helen's using her coaster for everything now. Sausage rolls as well.
So with a sausage roll, you want a rectangle. You want two squares worth. Don't do it on one square. I'm just putting these on a cooling rack, just so they don't go soggy. Emma's got a mini stack of bagels, which I made this morning. Okay, that's them done. Back to this. Right, so we've got 15 minutes. Okay, we're going to run over just by a few minutes, but that's okay. There is no running over now. It's just, you know, I do sort of like try and get done in the 2 hours, but it is going to go over by about 10 minutes, maybe. Okay. So that was a better roll than the first one. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so only get 2 out of it to start with. All right. Everything together. So we've got pastry, we've got custards, which form the sort of like the basis to a sort of a straightforward Danish. I made these a couple of weeks ago with a little bit of raspberry jam. So I put the custard in first, and a blob of raspberry jam on top. That worked quite nicely. I did these with just some chopped pecans inside. So I think I did the first set with frangipan actually. So you can actually use the frangipan recipe. So go and have a look at the Bakewell tart. If you want a more cakey Danish, then use the frangipan filling. You could just use the straightforward cinnamon and apple mix as well. That would work. Getting that. Okay. I'll get one more out of this, and then we'll work with what we've got there. Doing that. All right. Another egg. That's 4 egg whites going in here now.
Well, we could do the one thing we were talking about with the spring rolls on Tuesday.
So we haven't done the meal plan, have we?
Flavours of the ginger and garlic.
Right. Right. So we're just gonna, before we start filling anything, a little bit of egg on the outsides. It's going to help you create some seals. So the custard, it's much easier now it's set.
Oh,
yeah, so it's much easier to handle now while it's set. Because the last time I did this, it was still fairly liquid. Oh, frozen. That's gone off. Why? Why is that gone off?
It's charging.
Yeah.
Maybe back now.
Are we back?
Yeah.
No, that's weird. My laptop just turned itself off, which means it turned the feed off. Thank you. Hopefully you didn't miss much.
You're just painting the squares.
I was just painting the squares. Right, okay. That's okay. So I was looking down here, so I had no idea. Weird. Yeah. Okay. So the honestly, Coco just let out the biggest snore. The custard, as obviously, it's much easier to handle now. It's in a set state. The last time I did this, it was liquid or semi-liquid, so it was trying to keep it so it stopped them from spilling out. Again, don't try and overfill this. I've got a feeling I've put too much in that one there. I'm going to struggle to fold that one in. We'll give it a go. We'll give it a go. Okay. Just keep it sort of fairly central. Okay. Flavour-wise, we said this was apple and... sorry, the cinnamon and... Oh, yes, it's the... no, it's it's almonds. It's the flaked almonds.
Okay.
It was the crumble. What did I do? The crumble. Jan, what did I do? Crumble. Was it an apple crumble? Did a fruit crumble?
I think it was Jan's suggestion to put it in
Yeah.
there. I have no idea.
Okay, so there's a crumble mix that I made a couple of weeks ago. You can see it's got almonds in it. It's got cinnamon in it. It's got a bit of sweetener in it. So we're going to do a couple with this. So just a crumble mix inside. We'll do a couple like that. We'll do a couple with this.
They're sort of part open anyway, aren't they?
Yeah, so they're going to be ever so slightly open at the top. And we haven't got any jam left, have we?
No. There's cherries, I think.
No, that's cranberries.
Are they cranberries?
They're cranberries, yeah. So you've got a choice of wild garlic. Got some frozen blueberries.
That's been out with the custard.
Yeah.
That as a selection.
Okay. So in the freezer, we've got wild garlic on mussels. What would you like in your Danish pastry?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, mussels.
These as well.
These? Too late, but that's a nice idea. I might do that with the bit of dough that's over there. Right, okay. It's corner to corner, corner to corner. Done. So corner to corner. Pinch. Corner to corner. And don't worry if the pastry doesn't want to play ball, because you know where it's not sort of folded up here, it will just squeeze round. And you're just creating that little parcel. Believe me, once it's baked, that little tear in the pastry won't look like a tear in the pastry, yeah? So corner to corner. And I'm sure somebody like Lisa, I expect us to be seeing pastries from you which make these look like some sort of blind chimpanzee put them together, yeah? Again, I know I'm not the most delicate. So if I can do this, and again, once they're baked, they have a very artisan look. Yeah? Little pastries. In fact, you haven't had a crack at these yet, have you?
No.
Because you'll do this better than I
reminds me of a
will.
wonton.
Yeah, you'll do this better than I do.
I don't think so.
It is like I was born with 11 thumbs. Yeah?
Wow.
Okay.
Very neat.
But they're getting there. They're getting there. I mean, consider this is the third time I've done them. Lisa's food always looks, I'm sure she's secretly like a master chef from somewhere, She's But I would say, actually, like, third time of making these, whatever it is, this is the neatest batch. This is actually the neatest batch. They are coming together quite nicely. Yeah, see? Yeah. They're actually the most uniform pastries I've ever made. I will egg wash them, yes. It's easier to egg wash them on the outside than it is the inside now, yeah? I actually do find this quite therapeutic. 7. Thanks, Teresa.
7.
No, I don't.
Thumbs. Oh,
no, I think it's a score.
Oh.
I think it's a score.
That's a bit low, Teresa.
No.
10. 10 out of 10.
No.
I thought she had 7 thumbs.
I think it's a show, and she's giving me a score.
Ah.
Tell me if I'm right, Teresa.
What does it need to become an 8?
Oh no, he never gave
Okay,
8s. He never gave 8s. He was famous for his 7s. Right, there we go. Working towards a 7.5. Thanks. Okay. Do you know what? I'm just going to use a little bit of egg white in there rather than crack another yolk.
Was it not the yolk that makes it golden, though?
Well, it's a little bit of both, but there's a little bit of yolk left in there. There you go. You'd normally just egg wash with whole egg, but yes, it does give it a much more golden colour. Oh, that's the first bake of the cabbage bake, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll tell you what.
Cheese time?
Yeah, so it's cheese time. So I'll tell you what, I'll do that. So I've got 80 grams of cheese pre-prepared, blue pizza moment. I've not grated it yet. I thought I'd do that live. No, that's the live bit.
Oh.
That does look good, doesn't it? It does look good. Cheese is optional extra. You don't need to add your cheese.
It's mandatory.
In this house, okay, it's mandatory, but If I had enough electricity to plug two things in, I'd try and do both together, but I really can't trust it. Okay, someone gets a chunk. No. 10 minutes, and then that's done. Now, what I can do while we're waiting, shall I stay live while we bake these? Because are these a 20-minute?
Sounds
About right, isn't it? Okay, so we'll go on. What were you going to say?
I was going to say they're not sweetened pastries.
It's not sweetened pastry, no.
Do
Because so I could do what? Sorry. You might have to spell
cheese.
it. Right? No. So I'm going to make the drizzle. But if we, yeah, okay, we'll stay live quite clearly. Obviously, if you've got better things to do, then I will see you in the next video.
24 hours.
Yeah, 24-hour Panda Pantry. But we're going to be here till 4:30 today, okay? Because what I want to do is I'm going to bake these. 10 minutes for that, bake these, 20 minutes, and in that time, I'm going to make the drizzle for it. It's a new recipe that I've just found this morning, so it's not something I've done before. I just thought I'd give it a go, and we'll see what it thinks. Here for the long haul. Yeah, Lisa's strapped in. Actually, now the ninja's finished, it's safe to go and plug the kettle in, so I'm going to go make a cup of tea as well. So chat amongst yourselves for a second. I'm going to tidy up very briefly. Oh, that's the crumble. Oh. Yes, we might as well just stick it out. You'll be pleased to know all of this is going to be one dishwasher load, and that's about it. We're good to go for today. Go away. To be honest, we normally try and go for the dog walk as soon as we finish this, just to get a bit of fresh air. It's too hot out there for the dogs at the moment. I don't know where Argie is at the moment, but she's on the floor out of there. Out of the sun. So Argie's either tucked away outside somewhere or he's upstairs. This is what Emma does. Oh, you posted pictures of them? Yeah. This is what Emma does. Do you remind me, don't forget. Yes, I know, but I can't bake them. I've only got the one oven. They'll get baked after the pastries. Wine gums. Oh, we got some pumpkin ones as well.
Yeah.
We've got some pumpkin wine gums. What flavour?
Apple and orange.
Oh, wow. They're good. They're really good. There is a bit more rolling to be done, so I'll leave that out for now. Got a cup of tea?
Just make some egg pasta ravioli. Oh, not now.
No.
We've not made that for that long.
Yeah. I need to work out how to do a tangy version. So it's what to get the sour.
You can get an apple sour special ingredient drop from Special Ingredients. So this is just the normal apple flavour, but there is an apple sour one as well. So that would work. Or there's a Parma Violet one, I think, as well, isn't there?
There was a Parma Violet,
I'm
yeah.
not a fan of it, I don't like that flavour in it.
I used to love it.
No,
Used to love it.
But that would probably be good for that.
So the fizz is just got to be a chemical that has, citric acid, yeah.
Oh, so for the worms.
Yeah, for the worms, yeah.
I do have to get the worm silicone fruity one now. Yes, I never liked the fizzy kind of sour sweet things, don't I? It's just too much.
There were certain ones.
Going on. I used to like the fried eggs.
Yeah, Emma made some cola bottles last week. They were great.
Yeah,
they were great.
Yeah. That's the cola drop.
Flavour drops, yeah.
Yeah. So what does the citric acid do then?
I'll give it a fizz.
Right.
But it's a preservative as well.
We have that.
I've got a bucket load of it at the bakery.
Bring me over,
Yeah.
please. I don't know what to do with it.
It's a weird thing because it's a preservative, so you can add it to bread, cakes, that sort of things, as a mold inhibitor, as they're called. Apparently they make things fizzy. Okay, quick question in the meantime. I know we have asked before, my husband had kittens recently when I had to cook a Panda recipe. It's an old-style fan assisted. It depends what recipe it was, because this is also sort of, it's convection, so fan assisted. So, which recipe? Because there's only a couple that are really high, and there'll be. I'm trying to think now. Which one, Jan? Soda breads. Was that? I thought soda was 190. Yeah, soda's 190. That's not high. I sort of understand it's on for quite a while, but obviously it does need to drive the moisture out. You go lower, but you just go longer. Yeah. I wouldn't have said 190 is high when things like Peshwari naans are a 220. Pretty much when baking bread at the bakery, it was all between sort of 180, 190 as a general rule. Yeah. I mean, yes, it's Bakewell tarts 190. It's a it's high. Yeah, no, I sort of get the length of time at the temperature, so I understand the combination of the two. But 190 is not unnecessarily high. Want to reduce the time? You just reduce the size of the loaf, or make it into rolls, because I think we got that down to about half an hour, didn't we? The soda subs is about half an hour.
I'll do that, Lisa.
Right. Okay.
Let's see what the sweetness is.
Right. So we've got 1 minute left on the cabbage bake, and then we're good to go.
We need a drawer just for the special ingredients. Bottles.
So the kids. Let's get a plate for these. I didn't make these, but these are the bagels that Emma made earlier. The mini bagels. Okay, cabbage bake. Honestly, it's just cabbage. It's really good. It's really, really good. Okay.
So hang on, dinner tonight, is that?
I don't actually know. Let me just. Sorry. It's not even in there, is it? Danish pastry temperature. It'll be 190 for 20 minutes.
Is it? Have you posted about it yet?
Members only, I think. Yeah, I don't think I've put the recipe out there yet because I'm still working on the custard. Okay. How are we going? Not yet. Not yet. What else can I show and tell? So we've got bone broth, which we've not made for ages and ages, but that I'll sort of maybe do some pictures of what it looks like. Well, there's a video up on KFC anyway for that. If you want to make your own, I'm only using marrow bones for this one, so it will be a clear broth rather than a dark meaty one. So I often would use meaty bones. Carrot cake. There is a. It's the one without the label. Yeah, that's it. I haven't done the label for it yet. I suppose show and tell is carrot cake. It doesn't look like carrot cake, but it's the carrot cake mix. I put one together last week. It's bloody good. It uses dried carrot. It's the first time I've used dried carrot. And it really works. I was quite surprised as to when I sliced through the cake, how visible it all was. I was like, okay, that's. I wasn't expecting to see as much in the way of carrot as I did. Okay, so what else can I? Oh. So this is the bread dough, which we can.
You can make a little pizza.
No, sweet.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, it's sweet. What did you use for? It was just cream. It was a tub of double cream that had gone thick, just because of the heat. So I just threw in a little bit of vanilla extract in it and mixed it up and chucked it in the cake. Normally it'd be cream cheese and lemon, but it was just whatever cream I had. So it looked quite thick, but it's only a small cake. It was a 4-inch cake tin. What seems to be like me. We've got to do all the videos for Panda Book 1 first, yeah, Jan. Although there are recipes sort of in the list for videos that, yeah, they'll be Panda Book 2. So I don't need to write everyone. Well, what were we talking about? Oh, cream. Right. Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, it was just about as thick as the actual cake.
Yes, it was. It was fairly thick, but it was a small cake, and it wasn't a huge amount of cream. In my defence, it was good. It was good. Good carrot cake.
What are you doing with it?
I don't know. I'm trying to work out what's it. I'm just rolling it out, and this is the cinnamon roll dough. So obviously, as a bigger piece, it was still fairly thick, but this is very thin. So I could smear it with something. I could sort of. I don't want to put apple and cinnamon in it again.
What about chocolate and cranberry, like Jan suggested?
Chocolate and cranberry. They're fresh cranberries though.
Well, we
so
have cranberry essence.
they're gonna release a huge amount of liquid if they did.
Mm. Almond butter.
Well, that's not a bad one. Well, you could, yeah, you could put
You
almond
showed me
butter.
your homemade almond butter as well.
Yeah, well, peanut butter. There you go. At least it said peanut butter. However,
Might say some homemade almond butter. It's really good.
so I mean, I'm gonna have to warm it up. This is almond butter that I made a couple of months ago, at least. It's pretty much set in there now. It's dark because I leave the skins on. So it's a much darker, and it's got a much a heavier roasted flavour than a shop ball.
Yeah, we do use those nets.
You're sorry?
Use those nets.
Yeah, it needs some of those 1970s nets. So it's pretty much set. So I'll need to break it down a little bit. I'll probably have to warm it up. But this was, I think, 2 kilos of whole almonds that are roasted and then just ground in a food processor until it formed a butter. So much cheaper this way than buying jars of almond butter. It doesn't need a preservative. It doesn't need anything added to it. I think all I did with this was add a bit of salt to it. If you want to sweeten it, you can, but again, doesn't necessarily need it. And when it's fresh, as in when it was just made, it had a layer of oil on top of it. That's just dried out, just because it's in the tub in the cupboard. Actually, the more I manipulate it in here. Well, this morning, part of the meal prep that Emma does on a Sunday morning, we've got roasted Brazil nuts in Marmite. So they're a great snack. There's a video out there showing how to make your own hazelnut butter, so chocolate hazelnut.
Oh, the nut butter, yeah.
That's ideal.
That'd be lovely, wouldn't it?
So what I'll do, I'm going to sit this on top of the oven for a little while because it's softening up a little bit. Right, 12 minutes left to go on those. We're going to turn that into an almond butter roll. We're going to have a cup of tea. We are now cat entertainment. I know you don't, but I may have to. Fly smartphone. Yeah, I know. They're all over the place today. Funny because up to about, 10, 15 minutes before we went live, barely anything.
Yeah, they did also.
They just all of a sudden they came in. I think it's just as they start getting food out. The dogs have got bones, and it clearly does attract them. Yes. Right, where are we with this? Oh yes, they're very, very neat. I mean, if we can, well, actually, they're not even in the book, aren't they? Like, say, if we could go back and take a picture of these, but
you can take a picture.
I can take a picture of these because they'll be in the new book. There isn't a book coming this year. There definitely is another book coming this year.
Yeah, it's September.
Yeah, sorry.
September.
Yeah, Christmas we might do something small, but it'll mostly be online. Just going to get my board back out. Are you going to? You want to see inside? Okay, we can do that. Let me move that out of the way. Oh. So, 4 portions, yeah? That's exactly how it's written. Everyone gets some nice crunchy. Again, don't be afraid of leaving it a bit ragged around the edges because I don't know anyone that doesn't like those little bits of burnt ends. So it's still moist inside. It's not dried out, but it's got a nice crispy topping. You can sort of see there. And I'll get Ella to take some pictures of this later. But obviously the sauce with the egg sort of drifts down into it, so it solidifies it a little bit. It's just a perfect little dish. Yeah. I appreciate maybe not the weather to be having something like that right now, but I don't know, 2-3 weeks you'll be all up for it. Again, I don't think we've. Oh no, we have decided dinner. It's in there, isn't it? Yeah, we don't need cabbage bake tonight. But that'll be tomorrow with alongside the steak. Yeah, it's such a simple dish to do. Honestly, I mean, that's a double of what's in the cookbook. If you've got a bigger tray, do 8 portions. You know, freeze it down in little portions like that. Okay. Oh, that's what I'm doing. The topping. I'm looking at them, thinking, what we're waiting for. The drizzle. Right. Okay. Bear with me a second. Let me find it. Because I saved it. I saved it on my phone. I saved it on my phone. Yeah. Saved it on my phone. Okay. Okay. So this was from another recipe, and it was a Danish pastry drizzle. So cream cheese. It's an American one, so I'm just going to do a quick conversion. And it. Yeah, it's just is it a heat through? Let me just see if I can find it again. Because I took a screenshot of the ingredients, but nothing else.
Do you have a cabbage bake ice cold as well?
Yeah. Oh, I need to find it on Facebook. Hi Martin, how you doing, mate?
You said that that, do we? So it's like a cold baked coleslaw.
Yeah, it's a baked coleslaw.
Yeah.
Right, here we go. I found the post.
Yeah.
So this person, it was a keto Danish pastry, but they just use fathead as the dough. And I sort of get it. It's an American site. Get it, but don't need to be making Danish pastry out of cheese.
I was going to say,
yeah. But you can use it as sweet. You can use it as sweet. Yeah. Right. So let me just find it's one of those. We've all been on them. You know, those sites where they promise you the recipe, but you've got to read about their gran and then their cat and then what they did last summer and then it's like, I just want the recipe, and then a million adverts.
You're getting it for free now.
Yes, I'm getting it for free. Okay, so there's the recipe for making fathead. Okay, come on, bake, yes, glaze. Okay, wow.
What flavour is it? Is it cinnamon?
Okay, so it is a melt over a low heat. Okay, I get it. I just need my little blue pan again. Yeah, it does say jump to recipe, but you still got to go through the 3,000 adverts that they put in there. Just a custard here. Right, 4 minutes. I've got 4 minutes to make. Do you know what? I thought I had loads of time. Stop laughing. Right. So melt everything in a saucepan. Okay, that's
you can do that.
That's literally. And now I've got to try and find the recipe again. Honestly, these sites are awful. They should be banned.
Would you like me to read it for you?
No. I've got it here now. It's fine. It's all good. 15 grams of cream cheese. 17. I'll do. 28 grams of. You can tell it's American because it's 28 grams. 1 ounce. When the recipe appears in my book, online recipe, it'll be, 30 grams of butter, not 28. 10 grams of sweetener. Just got 10 grams there. $15 grams of cream. And a little bit of vanilla. Okay. Okay. It's a low heat just to bring everything together. Two minutes. A little bit. We'll leave it there a little bit longer. Get a little spatula just to bring that together. So essentially, from what I can see in the picture, this is just like your typical white icing to go over the Danish. Just gonna get rid of that. Cover that one up. And you're just trying to melt the cheese, melt the butter. And clearly once it goes cold, it will reset. You down a little bit. 20 seconds.
Actually smells like custard, doesn't it?
It does smell a bit like custard, yeah. So it's just the vanilla and cream cheese, isn't it?
Looks like it is.
All right, just waiting for the last couple of bits of cream cheese to melt. Beautiful. Look at that. Right, done. So, it does smell like a little vanilla custard, actually. So, while the pastries are hot,
That'd be nice with the cinnamon swirls as well.
yeah, it would actually, yeah.
Like cinnamon bun.
Yeah. And there's your vanilla icing. That's good. I like that. We're going to let them cool. That's the washing just tipped over in the wind. Look at that. The colours have just changed because the sun's gone down. Beautiful. Okay, we'll call it quits because 2 hours and 34 minutes is pushing it even for me. Are we going to get we'll get this tray in. We'll do some more pictures later of what we've prepared. What did we say these were?
190. Did you say?
No, I think they're lower, aren't they? Oh. Thank you for joining in this afternoon, this evening, tonight. We'll be back next week. 190, 25 minutes. We're back next week. Don't forget, next week will be the last one for at least a fortnight. If you want to come to the workshop, if you can make it, there are 2 spaces left. So it'd be lovely to see more of you. It's going to be a filled, I would say fun-filled, but they best have their best chefs on in action on that day. It's going to be a cooking marathon on that day. There's solid 6 hours. So never mind this 2.5 hour. Bring your trainers, something comfortable on your feet. So I'll see you next week. I'm not sure what we'll do next week. If you got any suggestions, fire them in. Otherwise, I'll think of something. We've always got something we want to try and practice again, or have a go at. So if you got any suggestions, then fire them in. Otherwise, I'll see you during the week. Members, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
See ya.